Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 has been out now for just about 6 weeks, or a month and a half, however you want to look at it. And we're starting to see some 2024 specific add-ons come to the market. Two of my favorites, I consider them must-haves, I'm going to showcase today. We'll do a startup in the default Robinson R66, which it's really nice to have a default counterclockwise helicopter that is just as good and is fun to fly as the Cabri. So it's a really nice addition to the sim, and you get this aircraft is now included in the base sim. So it's a simple startup, and it behaves fairly close to the published POH. So it's pretty good. It's a decent default aircraft. Other than the blades rotating the wrong way, it's been reported as a bug, so hopefully that gets fixed. One of the checks that's fun to do takes a little bit longer in the R66 because the turbine doesn't spool up as fast as a reciprocating engine, but doing the warning horn check for the low rotor RPM, it's a very, very frustrating or grating sound, but for good reason. But I like to pull up the collective a little bit and make that horn turn off by getting the rotor RPM into range, but it takes a little bit longer for that to spool up with the turbine. But there you go, now it's in range, and then once the governor's engaged and we're settled, we're good to go fly. Normally it would be nice just to take off over the water, but I wouldn't want to blow those tents over, so we're gonna head around the other direction to try and avoid giving someone a really rude awakening in the morning. The dust effect is really nice, but it's a little overdone. Maybe that's something we can work on improving with that. Clifford Designs is an independent developer that I've been supporting since I've known about him. I believe he's just a one-man show doing his thing because he's passionate about creating scenery for Microsoft Flight Simulator. He likes to take these little areas and really add a ton of local detail. You really could only enjoy them with the drone camera in 2020, but now that we've got the walk-around feature in 2024, what Clifford brings to the table can really be enjoyed in a whole new way. I myself, I haven't walked through them yet with my third-person avatar, but I've been enjoying flying around them at low level with the helicopter. But he's able to take these areas and just fill them full of detail and realism, and he has really great animations for the flow in the water, just making the realism of these streams and waterfalls, and these areas really just come to life, and all the places that he enhances. Then to add to it, my other must-have add-on is the enhanced seasons, or seasons enhanced by Bijan and you can get both of these add-ons from Sim Market, and I'll put the links in the description. But it takes everything that's wrong with the new trees in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 and fixes them. One of the notable things is it adds the red sugar maple color in for some of the trees in the fall. So I just have it set to a day in September, and enjoying these two wonderful add-ons that just take the scenery and detail and realism forward to the next level. And we'll just fly around, and some of these visuals are just incredible. There's a few little odd things and bugs that will get worked out that are kind of frustrating and annoying, but mostly my experience in free flight using it as a simulator and not as a new game with the career mode and the new photo modes. Those are additional items. These are all kind of things that are just new to simulators, like the walk around mode. That's a new addition. It's kind of a why not kind of thing. So when you really look at it, I know a lot of people are upset about the experience that they think they paid for versus what they got in the new simulator. And you look at what the previous simulator did and what this simulator does on top of it, or enhances over it. It really is a step up in all areas. All of the features that the previous simulator had have been improved. And then there's additional features on top of it, and that's kind of where all the little problems are, right? So the walk around features, the removal of like chocks and pedo covers and things like that. Those are kind of a little buggy. Career mode's a little buggy, but these are the added features that are new to this genre. And it's kind of funny because everybody's like, oh, it's being gamified, but those are the things that people are most upset about not working. So it's kind of a catch-22. I'm not really not sure what the expectation is. So from a gaming standpoint, I can understand that people are upset that things like the career mode aren't working. Certain things are really difficult to do. It's like the dark souls of the flight sim genre, trying to get some of these things done. When you look at it from a flight sim perspective, it's really kind of a marvel in the technology that they've brought together in this platform. So it's kind of interesting. Looking at these two add-ons and what they bring to the table, the rivers and streams that we're going to go fly down here, and some close-up views of the canyons. It's pretty incredible. The realism of the trees. So I'm not from Norway, obviously. I've never been to Geirangerfjord, how the internet says to pronounce it. I live in Michigan, which is also an area that is formed by glacial movement and erosion. There aren't big mountains and fjords where I live, but I've experienced a lot of this type of terrain with these kind of streams and cliffs and the trees and deciduous forests and how they grow. And I can say that it feels pretty real to some places that I've hiked and been around in the state that I grew up in. So it's pretty incredible how good it looks. And then to be able to have a decent flight simulator on top of it. I know a lot of people are negative on the flight modeling inside Microsoft Flight Simulator, but I find it to be pretty good. It matches what I've found in other simulators, and it's pretty convincing to my real-world experience in Robinson helicopters. So I'm pretty impressed with this new simulator overall. Anyways, I'm glad to be able to sit and chat about my experiences in helicopters and flight simulation. Just enjoying the view inside this new simulator and what it can provide, and some 80s-ish Tron type, maybe Stranger Things tunes that I found upbeat. Because why not? Another not talked about a lot or underrated feature, I think, of this helicopter is the sounds. It's rivaling the immersive audio add-on for the Sim R66 as far as the sounds are concerned. The ground reflection is really good. The blade slap is really good. It sounds very, very convincing to a Robinson helicopter. It's good. The sounds are good in this. The flight model is good in this. It's doing things that I expect. I flew the Sim version the other day, and I really can't find any advantages from one to the other. The Sim has a couple of features that are nice, like the fuel guard covers work on the Sim model. But I think the modeling, texturing, and mapping looks better on this default version, which I believe is made by Coronado for Asobo. I'm not sure who did what part of what, but it is included with the base level version of the game. That would be even the version you get just if you have Game Pass, so you have this helicopter available to you. It's doing things that I expect it to do. I've done some tests just with how the ground effect would work with collective settings, and it's doing what I expected to do, and it's matching the behavior from when I've done those same tests and maneuvers in the real aircraft. There are some areas where I have found, and some other users that I talked to have found, that some of the helicopters and things are overpowered. I'm not sure if it's an airfoil issue or if it's a turbine issue. And also, like, sitting on the ground, the dust effect. When you're at flat pitch, when you have the collective all the way down, it does create a little bit of wind current, but not a lot. Until you start pulling pitch and really putting that thrust into the rotor system, it's really not creating that much downwash. So those are some things that need to be worked on and tweaked. Generally, I'm finding if you fly it within its limitations like you would the real aircraft, within its normal flight envelope, it behaves like the real aircraft does within its normal flight envelope. I've just started to do a little bit of testing and push it to the edges, but it's a really beautiful aircraft to fly and enjoy areas like this. Just looking at these scenery add-ons and the little touches that it brings to what the new simulator has to offer, it is kind of incredible. Be able to just fly around places like this and have this kind of realism. Be able to think that you can land and get out and explore a little bit on foot. Enjoy it. It's kind of nice. It's like, yeah, do we really need that in a flight sim? No, but how cool is it to be able to do that? Like, we have the ability, so why wouldn't we do that? And enjoy that. Bring those two, I guess, genres together. It makes perfect sense. And I get to fly the aircraft in ways that I normally wouldn't in real life. Not to say that I couldn't do something like this in real life, it's just not the best aeronautical decision making to fly down in a canyon that might have wind currents that are unpredictable in a way or in a location where you don't really have a lot of outs if you have a failure. So yes, you can do it, and if you were performing a rescue or a hoist operation, in those areas of danger, but you can rely on your machine. Hopefully you keep it in good maintenance and repair, and that's kind of one of those things that I would have to have a little trust in. So, or obviously for different industries, like the search and rescue industry, they tend to use twins. So if they were in a situation like this, they've got a backup engine if there was something to go wrong, and they wouldn't have to ditch down into the canyon. They could fly away. But yeah, this wouldn't be something that would be the wisest to do in real life with this aircraft. But it's a simulator. I'm not going to die if I have a failure or have a crash. But that's one of the things that I would like to see, how the new sim handles and how developers start to handle the new systems and what they're capable of as far as failures and unexpected occurrences that happen in aviation. Man, just to be able to have visuals like this is what helicopter flying really is about, though. Explore these areas like this, low-level flying. And this right here, this is why we'll keep pushing the developers to make things right. Why I feel like, even though it's not perfect, it's important to, at least for me, to push the genre to make it match as much of my real world experience as I can, to make it more of a useful tool as far as staying current and training are considered. I want to make sure that it flies right, that it does things correctly. I'll take the little minor annoyances of things happening, like right there, that the ground effect bug, come to call it. It's something to do with the elevated areas where all of a sudden objects start to affect the inflow of the rotor flight dynamics. It's something that needs to be corrected. But we'll deal with little things like that to be able to push this, because man, just look at this. to even think that flight sims could be here from where they were a decade ago is just crazy. We'll keep pushing to make it perform more like it should at the edges of the flight envelope, talking about things to make it better. No, I don't think it matters as much of what exactly happens in certain situations, and VRS gets brought up a lot, and it just isn't that important to simulate what would happen if you encounter VRS. Because how you fly in the actual aircraft is to avoid the situation and the circumstances that you would encounter VRS. Because when you do encounter it, you don't have a lot of time to react to it. So your best course of action is avoidance anyways. So you would fly in that way and simulate flying in that way and really solidify your muscle memory, those procedures, what to do, what to recognize, and you repeat that so that you make the correct movements and actions in the aircraft. You don't really gain a lot from having the simulator react to VRS in this way so that you can recover from VRS. That doesn't get you that much as far as real world training is concerned. that's why, to me, the discussion just doesn't make a lot of sense, looking at it from a pilot's perspective. And after having that whole bit about VRS not mattering anyways, I've actually had different helicopters, third-party developers. I haven't tested this one yet, or the Cabri yet in 2024 to see, but there are helicopters that do perform properly, that enter and recover from VRS in the simulator. So to say that it's not present is also not true. It's there. So the flight dynamics and the flight modeling in the simulator are good. There's really not a lot of argument to discredit them any longer. They're doing what's expected. How did another pilot sum it up pretty well? Post on social media. The new simulator, it's like 95%. Holy crap, that's amazing, and another 5% of like, what the hell? Yeah, that's kind of where we are. It's pretty true. With the experiences, if you look at it from the next evolution of what the current version was, it's amazing. It's doing great things. It's brought so much detail and just visual immersion to simulators. It's great. It's got some bugs. It's kind of funny in some of the situations, but the bugs they're not simulator breaking. Well, the ground effect one, that kind of sucks, but they're not. Yeah, it's like they're little things that are wrong with the new features. So they're not, all of a sudden they broke the simulator, but they didn't. The underlying structure is so much better. It's good. It's really good. I know there's some people not having a great time with it, but personally I'm having a great time with it. Experiences are generally positive. Every once in a while I have a couple of moments where it's like, yeah, it frustrates me, but for the most part it's a good experience. These two add-ons showcased in this video really do take the simulator to the next visual level and where I think things are headed in the future. There's absolutely no reason we can't have this kind of visual fidelity for close-up, low-level flying and good flight modeling at the same time. It's here. We just have to keep pushing performance. Thanks for watching. Be safe, be kind, and I'll see you in the next video.